Podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. And Monday afternoon, 1 p.m., of course, means the main event podcast here. I'm Stephen McCollum. Hey, everybody. Adam's not with us today. He is running around. He might join us later if he gets done. He's running around the streets of Chicago, probably shirtless, probably flinging a shirt above his head, and, like, woo! Probably flipping over some cars and other things, RVs, I don't know, whatever you do in Chicago. And he's probably doing all that because he had no problem with Renteria until the collapse at the end of the season and then the playoff collapse against the A's. And then all of a sudden, if you guys remember, he comes in all defeated, how the world's ending. And he's like, Renteria needs to be fired immediately. And we all laughed at him. Pretty good. I didn't see anybody else saying Renteria needs to be fired. Just Adam. And he got fired today. So, Adam spoke it into existence. So, good for Adam. Now he's out running around. It's ugly. I'm sure it's ugly. Watch the Chicago news feeds. You might see Adam, like I said, in his White Sox gear, cheering up and down the. It looks like the Cubs won the World Series kind of a deal. So pay attention to that. We'll have more on the Renteria firing here when we get to baseball. Yeah, when he's done, probably catching his breath, running around. He might call in a bit. He's not sure yet. He doesn't know when he's going to be done. And quite frankly, I don't know if he's ever going to be back because he is so excited about this that he could be gone for months. He could be the streets of Chicago for months. The streets are going to engulf him. It's going to be weird. He's going to become one with the streets. Any other dumb cliches I can come up with here? It is what it is. Adam's like, the streets and I became one. I was so excited for Renteria. It was so great. I became one with the Chicago streets. Southside rules. He's probably trying to break into Guaranteed Rate Field right now. Probably trying to take down the gates. And that's just a normal Monday, Then on top of it, they're excited about it, So that's the way it goes. But last night, the Lakers, Heat, Game 6. We talked last time about how the NBA wants it to go to a game 6. Adam called it. His conspiracy theories came out, and he was right. He was right again. See, now that he's not here, I'm just going to say how right he is all the time. Partly because he's never right, and it's like he's not available the day that he is right. So it's his fault, not mine. Right? You know what I mean? So Lakers win last night. They dominate the Heat. I mean, it wasn't even a ball game. 115-104 ended up. No, wait. What would the final score be? It was a lot more than that. It was a lot to a little. 106-93 was the final last night. Lakers win the series 4-2. Lakers as a franchise win their 17th championship. Tied with whom? Anybody? 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 Go ahead. No need to raise your hand. Just shout it out. Anybody? Shout it out.
Celtics.
Thank you. Holy cow, that was rough. I have an intern now all of a sudden. Intern's back today, and she raised her hand, and I even said, don't no need to raise your hand. You can just shout it out, and she still just sat there. I have a question. Who does intern think I was talking to? We're the only two people in the room right now. Nobody else is in the office or the studios. Who did she think I was talking to? I don't know if she knows that I can't see you guys out there watching this. I don't think she knows that I can't see the you guys watching this right now or listening to it. And so maybe she thinks that I can see you guys. I'll do that so you guys can see me. So anyway, yeah, they tied the Celtics 17th title. That's pretty fantastic because I bet she doesn't know the answer to this one. What is the franchise that has the most titles after 17? So Lakers and Celtics are tied at 17. What is the number of championships after 17? Who has the third spot? What number of championships is the third spot? Anybody?
Bulls.
Anybody? Bulls, but how many?
12 or 13.
Wow, no, not even close. 6.
Oh.
So 17 for the Lakers, 17 for the Celtics, 6 for the Bulls. Somebody else has 6. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember who it was. But basically, my whole point in that exercise is Lakers and Celtics. Of course, a lot of those came from before, most of us were alive. And gone and won since then. So, hey, Miguel. Great to join us. Yep, solo for now. Adam is out celebrating Renteria getting fired on the streets of Chicago. I said earlier, shirt's probably off. He's waving it like a terrible towel. He's running up and down. Probably breaking into Guaranteed Rate Field. Celebrating. And he's also excited. I talked to him earlier. He might call in a little bit. So the real story is Adam has to work. So they're doing mandatory overtime at his job, so he has to work tonight. So he's actually sleeping, and he was supposed to set an alarm, and I haven't heard from him, and I texted him. So if he wakes up in time to call in, he'll call in. But he's got to be at work at 5:30 Chicago time, and he's napping right now since he works the night shift. So that's where he is. So he might join us. I'm not going to make promises. But I talked to him earlier, and I have all of the celebration vibes from him. So if I'm not giving them to you guys, that guy. Let me go on a tangent since he's not here. It'd be funnier if he was here, but that guy gives me so much grief about me saying how managers need to be fired, how people need to be fired, and I back it up with facts and issues and stuff like that. And by the way, 2 of the coaches I say need to be fired have been fired now. Bill O'Brien and now Dan Quinn. Adam Gase is coming. He's going to be gone by the end of the year or at the end of the year, right? Nagy's going to make it another year because they're 4-1 unless they have a monumental collapse. Because the Bears, as I said last podcast, should win 10 to 12 games with their schedule and everything. And I have other coaches. Matt Patricia is going to be gone after this year probably. And I name them all, right? And I get so much crap for saying that. That guy's on Renteria's bandwagon They have a bad end of the season, and he jumps on that bandwagon. It's all, Renteria needs to be fired. Or as Adam says it, Renteria needs to be fired. I'm so depressed. So depressed. And we make fun of him, and it happens. You know, like, oh, I called it. That's literally what he said to me. Oh, I called it. I'm so happy today. It's like, okay. But I had a hard time understanding him on the phone, though, because he was running, because he was so excited. He's like, I'm running the guaranteed rate field. I was like, all right. Please, somebody dial 911 and be ready to hit send for him, please. So, yeah, so championship-wise, 17, 17, and then 6. So I just find that fascinating that there's that big of a disparity is in there between the NBA teams, and the Bulls didn't get theirs, obviously, most of theirs until Jordan's years, right? Because he won 4, right? I need to watch Last Dance again. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Lakers and Celtics. It's from years long before most of us were alive on there. So, I got it right here. I'm pulling it up. So, Celtics have 17 championships, 21 finals appearances. Guess the year's one. Let's go. Everybody guess the year's one. Let's do this. Let's play the game. What years did the Celtics win the championship? 57, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 68, 69, 74, 76, 81, 84, 86, and 2008. Now, they lumped the Minneapolis and Los Angeles Lakers together. 32 final appearances. So how about that, Celtics? You only have 21. 17 championships for the Lakers, of course. You ready for this one? I'm gonna make a correlation here. Knock the Boston Celtics a little bit. Jordan has 6 championships. I told you, intern. Duh. 49, 50, 52, 53, 54, 72, 80, 82, 85, 87, 88, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2009, 2010, and 2020. At least the Lakers have won their 17 this side of this millennium, most of them. Unlike the Celtics, who were only good apparently in the 50s and 60s. They dominated the 50s and 60s. And struggled after that a little bit. Whereas the Lakers, not so much. Yeah, Chicago Bulls have 6 in 6 finals appearances. 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98. I should have known that. Everybody should know that. Philadelphia / San Francisco / Golden State Warriors also have 6. I like how they lump all their cities together, right? 47, 56, 75, 2015, 17, 18. They have 10 finals appearances, so they're 6 of 10. Why is Jordan considered the GOAT over everybody? That's right, because he's won 6 and was in 6. Just pointing that out. LeBron is now 4 for 82 or something, I think. 4 for 82 in the finals. San Antonio Spurs have 5 and 6 finals appearances. Of course, 99, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2014. The Syracuse Nationals / Philadelphia Flyers have 3. They've only won 3 out of 9. They're like the Buffalo Bills of the NBA Finals. Fort Wayne / Detroit Pistons, 3 of 7. Of course, the 3 they won were 89, 90, and then 2004. The Miami Heat, thanks to LeBron James, 3 out of 5. 2006, 2012, 2013. Of course, they just lost this one. That's one of the losses. Houston Rockets are 2 out of 4. Of course, that was 94 and 95 when Jordan was out of the league. And then the New York Knicks. 2 championships, 8 appearances, 1970 and 73. So let's knock on the New York Knicks here for a minute. Okay, big market, right? Just like Los Angeles, just like Boston. Huge market. Huge market. The biggest market, actually, New York Knicks. 2 championships. Only 8 finals appearances when these other guys have 17 and 21 and 17 and 32. Another reason New York sucks. New York sucks. Of course, there are 9 teams that have 1 NBA championship to their name. The Raptors, of course. Cleveland. Obviously, thanks to LeBron again. Mavericks, they beat the Miami Heat back in the day. LeBron James, Miami Heat back in the day for their other loss. Of course, Seattle Supersonics, Oklahoma City Thunder, 1979. I don't get why they put Seattle Supersonics / Oklahoma City Thunder in there. When they won it in 79, they were Seattle Seahawks or Seattle Supersonics back in 1979. Why are you including their current team name? It's totally irrelevant. They weren't around then. Baltimore, Washington Bullets / Washington Wizards, of course, 1978. Portland Trailblazers in 77, the year of Steven. 77, the year of Steven. Milwaukee Bucks have one in 71. Atlanta Hawks, St. Louis / Atlanta Hawks, 1958. Baltimore Bullets, 1948. They folded in 1954. Some would say they ran out of bullets. I did not have that written down, just so you know. Rochester, Cincinnati Royals / Kansas City / Kansas Sacramento Kings in 1951. So basically what I'm trying to say here is in all the years of basketball, basically 2 teams have won most of them. So there we go, everybody. And the NBA is not predictable, right? So anyway, they win it last night. 5 things we learned from the Lakers title clincher. These lists are always good and everything, right? And they obviously over glorify things that happen in the moment. It is good because the Lakers have not been to the finals or won the finals in 10 years, which, as I just read to you, is a long time for the Lakers, right? So 24 of the league's best, or 30 teams have waited longer than that. So don't feel sorry for the Lakers is what I'm getting at. So they waited 10 years to win another championship. They basically had to bring in LeBron. They had to get Anthony Davis. They had to bring in these high-power players to win this. But 24 other of the league's 30 teams have waited longer than 10 years. And for instance, it's been 12 years for the Boston Celtics. It's been 16 years for Detroit, 22 for Chicago, 25 for Houston. So you'd have to be well into your 40s to remember anything you saw when Philadelphia last won. First of all, I'm 42, and I'm still too young for seeing Philadelphia to win that thing. You have to be pushing 50, pushing daisies out there. And by the way, I know, before I get told, I'm 43. I know. Thank you. Thank you over there. Thank you, crowd. I'm reading Mikhail here. Mikhail says, I was going to bring this up. Mikhail says, I usually don't bother with GOAT conversations, but for these 2 guys, what I find impressive is LeBron's 4 wins with different teams and coaches / players. He ring chased. Michael Jordan did not ring chase. Michael Jordan got a team around him. And if you look, Michael Jordan had different players all the time. He had, obviously, Scottie Pippen was the main, but he had John Paxson in a few of those championships. He had Steve Kerr for some of those championships. He had Bill Cartwright for some of those championships. He had Bill Wellington for a couple of those things there. He had Dennis Rodman on there. So just because Michael Jordan didn't leave his team, he had the same thing. He had different players on there. Yeah, he had the same coach, but he didn't ring chase to get it. Name big name players. Michael Jordan, they wanted to go play with him, right? So, but they also wanted to go against him. Now these new players, let's go play with LeBron. Let's go win with LeBron. Karl Malone didn't leave Utah to go to Chicago to win a championship. That's my problem with that theory there. Not that it's a bad theory. I totally get it. But I actually still fall on the side of Jordan because he didn't have to go somewhere else. And he didn't always have the best talent. Jordan didn't. He was the best talent, and he had Scottie Pippen there as well. But he didn't, he had a whole different cast of characters in that system when he won all the time. It wasn't the same. He didn't have the same people all 6 years and everything like that. So that's my issue with that argument from people is LeBron had to leave to go places because nobody wanted to go to Cleveland to play with him. So he had to leave to go get those championships. Jordan didn't. So I know. Hold on. Before I move on, I know everybody's gonna be like, "You just hate LeBron." No, I'm giving him his due. My point is first of all, we're not gonna sit back and realize if LeBron's the GOAT or Jordan's the GOAT till after he's retired. You can't figure that out right now because you're always gonna have people like me that are going to point out the Jordan side of things that is, quite frankly, I think is more impressive than switching teams to win these championships. And then if you look at it on top of it, LeBron James had easier. I know everybody's like, "Oh, basketball's harder today." No, it's not. It's not harder today. It's not even close to being any harder. And he was always able to stack the deck in the East to where the East was really weak. And then this year, it just so happened, it's not his fault this year, where the West sucked after the bubble happened. But that was a byproduct of the bubble and COVID and all of that. So I'm not going to hold that against LeBron for having an easier situation in the West this year than he normally would have had. Now let's see what happens next year as it comes through on that side. So that's kind of just my angle on it. I totally understand the other side argument where he did it with different teams and players, but when you can pick your team and you can pick your coaches, like Michael Jordan didn't pick Phil as his coach. He loved, I'm forgetting his name right now. He loved his coach before Phil. They've always stayed friends. They've always been good in everything, and he got Phil in there, and he didn't force Phil out when they struggled or anything like that. He stuck with him. Whereas LeBron handpicks his coaches. And don't tell me he doesn't. Except for in Miami, he handpicks his coaches. So he sets the deck up for himself to win. Jordan did not do that. Just another thing there. So, okay, anyway, enough of that. So obviously the first one is the Lakers drought is over, according to NBA.com. Number 2, James is the king of player empowerment. That's absolutely right. We're in this age right now where players have more of a say. They can push things. LeBron was the one that wanted to vote to shut down the bubble and not play anymore. Nobody else went along with him. Everybody else told him to shut up and get out. We're going to keep playing. So he had to keep playing. And remember, he got mad about it. All the stories about how he got mad. Oh, you want to shut down the bubble. And all the other players were like, we're here. We're going to keep playing. So he had to keep playing. So he's the king of trying to be the player of empowerment, but it doesn't always get his way. And, you know, I'm reading this thing real quick here. But, I mean, he does try to push that, and he is definitely the height of player empowerment in his bubble, quote unquote, with the Lakers and whatever team he goes to. But the reason why he's not in Cleveland anymore is because he couldn't get what he wanted there. So LeBron doesn't get what he wants. He couldn't get players to go there, so he has to leave. That's why he went to Miami. He couldn't get, Dan Gilbert, owner of the Cavaliers, to give him the players that he wanted or the coaches that he wanted, so he left there. So just because you're the you're the king of player empowerment also means that if you don't get your way, you get to leave and go take your ball and go home, which is what I think LeBron has done. And I'm not faulting him for it. It's been successful for him. But guys like Jordan, able to do it where they're from. They were able to get Reinsdorf didn't listen to Jordan. Right? Jordan didn't walk into Reinsdorf's office and say, "I want this and this and this," and Reinsdorf went, "Done." He worked with what he had. Scottie Pippen sat out half of a season with a contract dispute, and Jordan was like, "We got to play without Scottie." LeBron today would cry and scream and complain about that guy not being there. And that's why he is the king of player empowerment. But it doesn't mean that it's being successful, is what my point is on this. He tries to be it. Again, LeBron's the guy that walked into that meeting in August when they shut down for a few days and voted to shut down the bubble and not play anymore. and the rest of the league said, "See you later. Don't play. We're playing." It was him and the Clippers. So, I have a lot of requests too, but when people don't listen, does that matter? I'm the king of my own empowerment, but when I ask for something and I don't get it, does it matter? No. That makes sense. Am I making sense to anybody? Anyway, 3, Davis is an elite number 2. Then we all know Anthony Davis was an elite number 2. Anthony Davis can be a number 1 for many teams. That's not a shocker. Wow, this is obviously the article of Captain Obvious here by NFL.com. Oh, here's my favorite one. This one. Oh, this one. I was waiting to see if this one would come up. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Number 4. Frank Vogel vaults into coaches' uppers ranks. Come on. Give me a break. The Lakers head coach they're actually giving the Lakers head coach credit here for this Lakers winning this series. They even do this here. Of the 332 men who have been NBA head coaches, only 34 have won at least one championship. That's just barely 10%. 6 guys, Phil Jackson, of course, has 11. Red Auerbach has 9. John Kundla, whoever that is, 5. Pat Riley, 5. Greg Popovich, 5. And Steve Kerr, 3. Account for 38, just over half all time. And just because Frank Vogel got on the LeBron train, and literally held on for dear life, if anybody thinks Frank Vogel did anything to coach that Lakers team right there. I mean, LeBron woke up from a nap and sent a text saying, "Let's go," to his teammates before game 4. Frank Vogel didn't send the text. LeBron James did. Give me a freaking break. Frank Vogel's now one of the... Shut up with this garbage. Here's what it says. Vogel, 47. I have to laugh here because this is ridiculous. Vogel, 47, did it by stressing the basic of defense and positivity. Boy, Frank Vogel should be in the Hall of Fame for head coaches now because he stressed the basic of defense and positivity. Let's go, guys. Rah, rah, ree. Where was his pom-poms? Because that's all he was a glorified cheerleader. And they just told you right there. Frank Vogel brought positivity to the Lakers. Hey, guys, let's go out there and win one for the team. He never tried to show his Lakers stars how smart he was, though he was plenty, and never had a moment's friction, publicly anyway, with James. Yeah, because when he was hired... It was pretty much, I got this, coach. I'm going to send a text when I wake up from my nap. I'm going to tell you what to do in the breaks. I'm going to tell you where the ball goes. Give me a freaking break. If Frank Vogel got fired today, would anybody else fire him? Like, somebody would hire him probably. But how fast would he get hired? Like, if Popovich got fired today or left the Spurs, he'd be snatched up in 2 seconds. If the head coach of the Miami Heat isn't on the Heat today, he'd get snatched up in 2 seconds. I forget his name, so I apologize. Brad Stevens and Oklahoma City Thunder decide to part ways. He's snatched up in seconds in the Bulls. In a matter of a couple of weeks, he's snatched up immediately. Right? If Vogel isn't on the Lakers tomorrow, it's going to be a long wait before he has another head coaching job on there. So, oh my God, I can't believe I read that. And then number 5 on this list, Miami will be back sooner versus later. Yeah, Miami's an up-and-coming team there, especially with Jimmy Butler on that team. They found a team that works with them and, use a different cat, and they can kind of get that on there. So I agree with that one. So... anyway, enough making fun of the NBA for a while. And I do find it funny also that the Lakers win this championship. And, of course, Kobe is Lakers lore, right? And everything. And what's the first thing everybody comments about? oh, they did this one for Kobe. Like, it's not about LeBron James all of a sudden. It's all about Kobe. How Kobe inspired the Lakers run. Even LeBron says it. I don't buy it, but that's what they're saying and everything. So even the spotlight's off of LeBron there and whatnot. And as we said on the last podcast on Friday, Rajon Rondo is the first guy to win a championship with both the Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, we did say there was one guy back in the 50s that won it, but it was the Minneapolis Lakers, so we're not counting that, so we look smart in this stat. So that's where we are on that. I read something. I didn't read it because, to be honest with you, I tuned it out after they won last night. I didn't, I'm not a big aftermath of championship kind of guys because obviously emotions are high and people say things that, sound good for the most part. And it's all a bunch of bull, right? They're feeling different about it today, and a week from now they'll feel different about it. And I'm not a big celebratory guy, unless I was on the team, I would be. But I read somewhere that LeBron said that he wants his respect or something. I didn't read the article, so I might be spiking off a base here. But dude, stop begging for stuff, man. If people don't respect you and things like that, quit begging for it. It's just sad. You won a championship on the Lakers. You're being overshadowed by Kobe, which you have to understand. I certainly understand it. You have to understand why that's the case. And dude, stop with this. I want my respect bullcrap. It's just total garbage and absolute garbage. So maybe one day I'll read that. Maybe one day I won't. I really don't care. I really don't care about the feelings of LeBron James or any of the players like that because I don't feel sorry for you. You just won a championship. I don't have respect. Shut up. Like, just ridiculous and stupid. I know, I'm unsympathetic. I'm an unsympathetic heart, so. Mikhail says he listens to me. Mikhail listens to me. Somebody listen to me. Well, intern doesn't, I can tell you that. Anyway. Lakers 17th championship. Good for them. Seriously, good for them. I said it earlier. I said it before. I said it when I filled in on the blender. When was that? Last Wednesday. That's just a disappointing. The NBA championship. I was looking forward to seeing what a young up-and-coming Heat team. Now, Dragic did play last night, but he's obviously still injured. And it was Game 6. It was just, I just wanted more theatrics. And hopefully next year when the league comes back and it comes back normal, the Western Conference is as good as it should be coming back. Hopefully we can get more theatrics and stuff in there and move forward, that type of stuff. So that's all I'm saying on that one. So you know what I mean? So really quick, I'm not going to go into it too much because Adam's not here. So I'll probably slide it into Thursday's show if he's not able to call in here. But NASCAR, of course, was yesterday. The Roval at Charlotte. Holy cow! I lost my train of thought there on what the name of the city was there, and rain-soaked event. If you ever wonder why NASCAR doesn't run in the rain, you got a reminder yesterday. It was a crash fest. It was, I guess it was kind of fun to watch. Could have been better if there wasn't rain. But they won. Chase Elliott wins it. There were just spins everywhere. Kyle Busch does not do anything. Kind of what I talked about before. Does get knocked out of the playoffs. Round of 8 is going this week. So obviously me and Adam did our picks earlier this year. Or earlier before the playoffs started. Eliminated on this round was Kyle Busch. Austin Dillon was eliminated. Clint Boyer was eliminated. And Eric Amarola was eliminated. So going into the next three races, group of eight, or the round of eight, you have Kevin Harvick. And we talked about this, I think, last week, where Kurt Busch wouldn't have qualified for this round except for he won in Vegas, so he gets to move on. So he took the spot of somebody that was, I believe it was Kyle Busch. I believe he took the spot of his brother that should have moved on, but he didn't because they had to have room for Kurt Busch, who did win in Vegas. So the eight remaining are Kevin Harvick's in the first spot, Denny Hamlin's in the second, Brad Keselowski's in the third, Chase Elliott's in the fourth. And he's really good on those road courses. He won back-to-back there in the Charlotte Roval. He's really good on those race courses. Joey Logano's fifth. Martin Truex Jr. is sixth. Alex Bowman is seventh. And Kurt Busch, as I said, is in eighth. We'll go over the picks when Adam's here. See who we have going on in this round. I know I missed a lot in the first round. I think I missed most of them, most of the four in the first round. But basically, all my guys are still there now. I think, obviously, Kurt Busch, neither of us probably have in this round because that's a surprise to everybody. And I think Alex Bowman not being there is kind of a surprise also. I think I had Austin Dillon going through on this round. So we'll do that when Adam comes back and he's on the show so we can go. And going into this weekend and NASCAR as well. So for those of you racing fans, it's getting down to the bottom eight. We'll talk obviously more as it gets closer to race time at the end of this week with the next three races. And again, if you want to watch if you ever wonder why they don't race in the rain, watch yesterday's replay. Go to NASCAR.com or go to NBC app and watch the replay, and you'll see why they just don't race in torrential rain pours ever, because it's NASCAR Twitter. NASCAR fans are notoriously I'm gonna clean up my language and say buttheads anyway. Like, they're just never happy about anything. And before the race, everybody was like, "Oh, it's good. Why can't they need to race in the rain? We need to see racing in the rain." And all the other diehard people on the other side were like, "We don't race in the rain in NASCAR. It's too tough. The racers aren't good at it. They haven't done it before." And they made all these excuses. And then after the race, all the people were like, "Why do we even race in the rain?" And some people were like, "That was so exciting to watch them race in the rain because it was all over the place and it adds some intrigue to the playoffs." And other guys were like, "You're stupid. We don't race in the rain." And it's just like, ah. So I have a list for my NASCAR follows, and I don't even know why I do, because it's just awful on Twitter. Watching NASCAR people argue over themselves all the time. Anyway, enough of me venting about NASCAR and that. And I don't like NASCAR. Fans leave a little bit to be desired sometimes. Let's just put it that way. At least on Twitter is what I'm getting at. So, Autumn, or intern. Woo! I just outed you. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to erase that. I just outed her. So Tampa Bay and the Astros are going up. Of course, that game has started. It started we went live showtime. I picked the Astros to win this series. Adam picked the Rays. We both had the Dodgers moving on. I would really like to see an Astros-Dodgers final there. But it's top of the second. It's 3-0 Rays already. So my pick isn't looking too smart right now, to say the least. So, do you watch any college football this weekend, intern?
No.
For those of you that couldn't hear that, she said, no. So, no, it's so negative, right? She's like, "You never include me in anything." So I include her, and this is what I get for her. Sheesh, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Right? So they can hear you. It picks you up loud and clear. So you can complain all you want. So for those of you that saw it, I mean, we're getting into some good battles here. Alabama, Ole Miss battle this weekend. Now, Ole Miss isn't that great, but it is. Mike Leach is their head coach, right? Alabama won 63-48. What happened to the SEC, man? No defense in the SEC land these days, right? Because then you got Georgia beating Tennessee 44-21. Where's the defense at? Texas A&M beating Florida 41-38. SEC is known, Auburn 30, Arkansas 28. SEC is known for their, defense for the most part and low-scoring affairs. Of course, except if they're playing, the crappier teams in the SEC or out of conference, they'll put up 60 points. But it's rare that they do it against other teams in their division there, right? I mean, Missouri 45, LSU 41. LSU has their second loss on the season. South Carolina 41, Vanderbilt 7. So you're used to that when you're playing a low-tier SEC team, right? On there. Kentucky 24. Mississippi State, I love this score. 2. Mississippi State scored 2. Did you guys hear me? I said 2. 2. What? So I get confused. Mike Leach. Okay, yeah. So Mike Leach is a Mississippi State Bulldogs head coach, and they scored 2 points. Right? They've been putting up a ton of points, and they have one win, but they have been scoring points. They scored 2 in this game. And this is what drives me nuts about Mike Leach is like when times are good, he's loving life, Oh, I'm the greatest. I'm a pirate. Arr. I'm a pirate. Arr. And all of that stuff. And then when he's going bad, it's obviously his first year. He left Washington State to go to Mississippi State. And they get just destroyed to Kentucky, right? And Mike Leach is not happy. He is unhappy with his team's play and a loss to Kentucky. And then he comes out in public, and I hate this about coaches, especially college coaches, but I especially hate it in college over pros, but I hate it everywhere. Mississippi State coach Mike Leach says he might have to, quote-unquote, purge any malcontents on the roster. Mike Leach is going to start offing his players. That's what he means, right? He couldn't mean anything else, right? Yeah, I'm sure it's Mississippi. I'm sure there's a lot of weird places to hide bodies. But you only scored 2 points again. I mean, let's be honest. You scored 2 points against a bad Kentucky team. And Bulldogs, Mississippi State opened the season with a 44-34 win at LSU. They had an SEC record 623 passing yards. And they failed to score on offense and had 6 interceptions against Kentucky. They lost to Arkansas last week, 21-14 at home. On there. But at what point is it not the player's fault? You know what I mean? Like, can he purge himself is what I'm getting at. Should he purge himself? Because Mississippi State didn't only score two scored last year. They scored more than that last year before he got there. And most of the players came back. So, and the quarterback for Mississippi State is a kid named Costello. I'm trying to find his first name. KJ Costello. He transferred from Stanford. He's a Pac-12 kid. He knows how the Pac-12 works. He knows the air raid system and how the Pac-12 likes to throw the football. And Mike Leach is asked if he would remain Mississippi State starter. Leach said, quote, "We'll have to go back and take a look and see." Okay, coach. I like Mike Leach. He's a little out there on life, and that's what I like about him. But I can't stand it when coaches blame the players like that. Like, I have to purge these players. Okay, coach. Oakley dokley. Of course, it doesn't get any easier for Mississippi State because they got to go home to Texas A&M next week. Good luck with that. What happens when you purge some players? Purge some players. He's gonna have a siren. Like they're gonna walk into the locker room, and then it's gonna be that purge siren, and he's just gonna off them right there. And then people are gonna start questioning where the whole football team went at some point, right? I'm just saying he needs to rethink this. I know he's a pirate. Probably gonna make him walk the plank. Walk the plank. Is that what they do in the pirate world? Quit saying that stuff in public, you stupid jack off. Seriously, it makes me angry. Like, again, they didn't play well, but did you put them in the right position? I bet you I didn't watch this game, obviously, because I could care less about Kentucky or Mississippi State. But in all honesty, if you go back and watch that, I will bet you $1 million that you will find so many coaching errors in this game. If your quarterbacks are throwing 6, interceptions and receivers aren't catching the ball and stuff like that, those things coaches can do to kind of put that to bed, run different plays. I bet you he still ran his crappy air raid offense like it was nothing and everything. So anyway, enough to me complaining about Mike Leake, but more importantly, what happened to the SEC, man? There used to be a defense. This is why the SEC was so great to watch, was their defensive play, all of that stuff, and it is garbage now. They basically have nobody that can qualify for Alabama. I'm sorry, you got to keep Alabama in there, but I mean, other than Alabama, they're going to be a 1, unless something weird happens. They're going to be a 1 team in the college football playoffs, right? Because Alabama's 3-0, of course. Ole Miss is 1-2 now. Georgia's 3-0, but they're gonna have to play each other, so somebody's gonna get a loss. Georgia's pretty dang good right now too. Pretty dang good. Tennessee's 2-1 now after losing to Georgia. Texas A&M is 2-1. Florida's 2-1. After that debacle, Florida should have won that game, but they let A&M hang around and they won at the end. Auburn has looked bad, even though they are 2-1. LSU lost their second game this weekend, so the defending champions look bad. LSU lost to Mississippi State, who only scored 2 against Kentucky. First of all, you should be disqualified just for that. And then they lost to Missouri at Missouri. Now, granted, the game was moved because of the hurricane and all that stuff, but it's just bad. Other top 25 news for big games this weekend. I was really looking forward to that Clemson-Miami game. Miami's back. Miami finally has a quarterback. I didn't think Miami would beat Clemson, but I thought they'd make a game of it. Then kickoff happened. 42-17, Clemson beat Miami this weekend. So the number 7 ranked Miami Hurricanes, apparently their "we're back" party started a little early. The Clemson still looks like barn beaters, man. That's going to be great. We're going to see another Clemson-Alabama finals here coming up, probably. Of course, I know all you Big Ten fans. Ohio State hasn't played yet. Spare me. Spare me the ridiculousness. I can't say that word. Notre Dame was losing to Florida State there in the first quarter. And then Notre Dame woke up, and 42-26, they beat Florida State. I'm telling you guys, I've said it numerous times on the radio show, and also I think on here, but definitely on the radio show. Notre Dame's going to make the playoffs because they go undefeated. Now they got Clemson at Notre Dame in a couple weeks. Let me look it up here. It's coming up pretty quick. Let's see here real fast. Oh no, it's a while. November 7th is when they got at Clemson. And winner of that game obviously is going to win out the rest, right? Because they both have ACC's weak everywhere else. And then they have to play each other again because they're going to play 1 versus 1, or one top 2 teams play each other, blah, blah, blah down. So they'll have to play each other again in the ACC championship game. So obviously the winner of that game will automatically go to the playoffs. So here's the thing: is loser of that game has to win that second game to make the playoffs. You're not going to see a 2-loss college football team in the playoffs. I don't even think even this year, even though it's unprecedented times, as Adam likes to say. But it's just dangerous for Notre Dame, who plays nobody. I'm willing to put a bet on this. I'm not gonna put money on it or anything, but anybody tweet me at SMAC500 or at the Main Event Pod. I'll put something up. You can tweet at me and tell me, because I think Notre Dame's gonna lose by 40 to Clemson when they play each other coming up. It's just Notre Dame is that bad. They're not that good. It's just they get that bias, so they're ranked 5th right now. They're dominating. Oh my God, they're so good. They beat Florida freaking State, who had. They were talking about I don't even know if he was in there. The third string quarterback was going to play. They're just god awful. Florida State is so bad. Arizona State beat them in the El Paso Bowl last year, and it wasn't even close. ASU won that, right? We were there. I don't even remember. North Carolina, 8 seed, beat Virginia Tech 56-45. Mack Brown, boy, Texas fans, how would you love to have Mack Brown back as your head coach? I think Mack Brown is coaching North Carolina. Am I confusing it? Makes me rethink if I know what I'm talking about. Now I'm just making stuff up. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have a show where I'm just going to make stuff up all the time. My ear's all thingy here. I'm just going to make stuff up all the time and just see who catches it and pays attention. Or more importantly, who repeats it. That'd be fantastic.
The political fact checkers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm going to have CNN fact checking me. Although he did say, although that is completely false, he didn't say all this, but he did allude to it, and so it doesn't count on that. I'm just going off on some rant here. Oh, well, I'm trying to figure out if Mack Brown is the head coach of North Carolina. I'm pretty sure he is. Oh, yeah, because Les Miles went to Kansas. That's why I was doubting myself. Les Miles went to Kansas. Because I was like, is it Les Miles? So, yeah. So, North Carolina, it's looking good. Mack Brown's freaking stud. I'm just going to go with it. Mack Brown's the head coach of North Carolina. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hold on, I'm looking it up here. Mack Brown, yay! Sometimes I do know what I'm talking about. Thank you, world. Mikkel on the Facebook says, I too was mandated to work today. That's why I'm slow with my comments today. I hear you picking on the All Access crew and have to stick up for intern. Don't make us get together and come after you. Except for that, great show. Carry on. I love NCAA football. Hey, I was in the studios earlier. I was editing some videos and doing a promo for the racetrack for this weekend for Arizona Speedway. I was doing all that work. I was finishing that up, getting it posted, all that stuff. And my kids are in school today, but apparently her school doesn't have school today, so she came on down and joined me. My treat, I guess. I know. Queen Creek apparently doesn't like indigenous people. I don't understand how we go from Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day. But anyway, we don't talk about that stuff on this show. So, North Carolina's studs right now. And we're going to talk more NCAA football now because now the games are, the first few weeks there were upsets, like LSU lost, stuff like that. But it hasn't been that exciting of a football season. Kind of hard to get going. But now we're starting to see a lot of, big name teams, ranked teams playing each other. And then when the Big Ten and, of course, Pac-12 start up, we're going to be really into it on the Pac-12 side. So definitely, trust me, it's going to be more and more part of the show. Moving forward after this week. But the other thing about North Carolina, they're 3-0, right? Clemson's 3-0. North Carolina's 3-0. I'm sorry, in conference. Notre Dame's 2-0 in conference. So overall, Clemson's 4-0. North Carolina's 3-0. Notre Dame's 3-0. And here's the thing. North Carolina plays Notre Dame on November 27th. So what everybody thought was going to be it's going to be Notre Dame and Clemson walking to that ACC championship game for the playoff spot. North Carolina has something to say about it. Mack Brown's out of slack. And again, like I said earlier, Texas fans, how would you love to have Mack Brown back? You guys ran him out of town. oh, we're better than this, and you're really not, Texas. You're really not. You guys are abysmal right now. The other team to look for in the non-Power 5 conference, of course, they're independents. BYU's ranked 15. They could sneak into the playoffs if they get ranked high enough because they should win most of their games the rest of the year. But they won 27-20 over UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. I believe they're the Roadrunners. Don't quote me on that. I also don't care. I'm not going to look it up. So they beat Navy. The Army game was postponed against BYU. I think they were trying to reschedule that, if I remember correctly. Because, I mean, Army's good. They're ranked 22 right now. That would be a good win on BYU's schedule. They beat Troy, who, by the way, I have to say, I'm going to tweet this out. Troy's logo is a T. And in certain situations, like when it's smaller, it looks like a male genitalia part. Just throwing it out there. Well, oh yeah, I was gonna say I'll turn the monitor around, but then the cameras would go on you, so don't do that. Hold on. Yeah. So I mean, call me dirty-minded if you want to, but I've always just found this weird thing about Troy's. That one. The T. I'm sending it to you because I know you just look like that. It doesn't look like it. And then you're just like, dude, you're a pervert. I'm going to send it to intern real quick. Maybe it is me. I'm not going to deny it's not. But BYU's got Houston this week. Of course, Houston's schedule was rocked with COVID. They didn't get to play a lot. They've been canceled a lot. So we're not sure what Houston had. But this Friday, October 16th, Houston and BYU are playing each other 6:30 p.m. on ESPN, and she's shaking her head. Yes, she agrees with me on that. It's just when it's like small and that weird, and it's kind of a beigey look right there. I'm just saying. And then they got Texas State, then Western Kentucky, then Boise State, which they're not very good. They should be able to beat them. North Alabama, and then San Diego State coming up at the end of the year. So BYU is another one of those teams that could take one of those spots if they get. I don't remember what the rules are off the top of my head. I'll look them up at some point. But, you know, non-Power 5 school ranked X amount high gets into the playoff automatically. And they're ranked 14 right now. So they could get there if they continue to keep winning as they move on. Of course, you know, you've got the Red River Shootout. Both teams are awful, right? Oklahoma lost 2 in a row. Texas has now lost 2 in a row, I believe. But because they lost. But 53-45. This was 2 fairly bad teams playing each other. Normally, this is an exciting game, big rivalry. But what made it exciting was both teams aren't that great. It was pretty evident both teams struggled. Both teams don't have a ton of talent. Texas was ranked 22. Oklahoma fell out of the rankings after they've lost their last 2 before this. But it went to 4 overtimes. That's always exciting. Always exciting. But yeah, Texas, man. You ran, which it was time for Mac Brown to move on from Texas. He was struggling there. It wasn't very good. But it's kind of like the Nebraska effect where you get rid of a good coach who's struggling a little bit and you go, oh, we need to be better than this. And then you're not better than this. And it's just awful. You got to put your egos aside sometimes, teams. And, you know, because now you look like idiots. Let me see here. I'm just looking at some headlines real fast. All right, that's it. College football. We're done. We're done. Big weekend this weekend, which we'll touch on. Because like I said, there's some really big games coming up. That's why we're talking more and more about it. And then, like I said, what are we still 2 weeks away from Big Ten starting? As I said, you got BYU Houston on Friday. You also got SMU at Tulane, which, I mean, SMU is ranked. The BYU Houston should be a good game this weekend. And we'll talk more about coming up here on what we have. I mean, Tennessee, 18th ranked Tennessee after their loss, has Kentucky. Kentucky shut down Mississippi State this weekend. Is there a chance that Tennessee's in trouble this weekend? I'm just throwing it out there. The highlight this weekend, in case you guys don't know, Number 3, Georgia. And number 2, Alabama. Alabama did slip. It's going to be a phenomenal game. It's on CBS, 5 p.m. Phoenix time, 7 p.m. Central. I have a race I got to go work at on Saturday night, and trust me, my iPad will be there, and I will be watching that game. It will be on. So don't tell anybody, though. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Our little secret. So, of course, Major League Baseball, since he's still sleeping, obviously, and that's fine. We'll get his opinion a couple days later on Thursday when he comes in there. But obviously, the championship series is going on. As I said, 3-0 Tampa Bay over Houston in the top of the third right now. The National League Championship Series starts here at 5 p.m.-ish. Phoenix time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta and the Dodgers. As I said earlier, Adam and I both have the Dodgers winning that series. I would love to see Atlanta win this series. It's just, how do you pick against the Dodgers when they haven't lost a game yet? They're dominating everything. I don't know how you can go against them right now. Now, World Series would be different matchup. But Atlanta being so young, I'm just afraid the Dodgers are going to. Hopefully, it's not a sweep. Let's just put it that way. Hopefully, Atlanta can make this a good series. Of course, big news in Major League Baseball today, besides Renteria being let go. Of course, people my age know him more for Sunday Night Baseball when he was the color analyst on Sunday Night Baseball. And he was great. He was really good at that and everything as well. But Joe Morgan, of course, second baseman, one of the best second basemen to ever play the game. The Big Red Machine, Cincinnati Reds, does die today, 77 years old. And like I said, people my age only weren't around, of course younger, weren't around when he played baseball. But just seeing the highlights of him, I mean, he was one of the greatest left-handed hitters. Like I said, second baseman. I don't know why I'm doubting myself so much. I'm pretty sure he's a second baseman. Yep, second baseman. But I mean, yeah, 10-time All-Star, 5 Golden Globes. Golden Gloves. he was on soap operas apparently. Most of them, of course, were with the Reds and the Astros. He did play 22 seasons from 63 to 84. That's crazy. Crazy talk. And like I said, he was lead baseball analyst on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball telecast from 89 to 2010. Of course, that's how I obviously know him and got to know him and figure out how he was as a baseball player. With that, I wouldn't have known how he was as a baseball player, to be honest with you. So glad that he did that so we can know how good he was in that deal. So, I mean, he batted 271. 271, 392, 427 with 268 home runs, 1,133 RBI, 689 steals, and 1,650 runs in his big league career. Like I said, over 22 seasons. That is crazy. So, Joe Morgan, 77 years old. Lots of tributes out there if you want to follow up on that and see some of his videos, because they're really long. So I mean, I'm not gonna play them. They're super long. When you have a 22-year career and you're one of the best, if not the best, second baseman ever, you can't just put together a 30-second tribute. Apparently, they all have to be 5 minutes long. We can understand that, right? My favorite. So, when did I say he retired? 84, right? So, but just, I was watching his Baseball Hall of Fame because he obviously was elected on the first ballot. He appeared in 1990. And it might as well have been from the 60s. The video, it looks so old. And it's like, oh my God, dude, I was 13, 14 in 1990, and I don't remember everything looking that old. How come everybody from my childhood is getting old? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? You know who isn't getting old? Simpsons. They're staying the same age. You watch Thundercats now? They're the same age. They haven't aged at all. Scooby Doo? Nope. Nope. They're still wangly teenagers causing problems. So Joe Morgan, like I said, a lot of baseball greats going this. We talked about pitchers last week. That was just pitchers, man. It's like, woo-wee. My favorite is when people are like, oh, 2020. It's like every year. People are like, oh, the year. So many people are dying. It happens every year is my point. It's just people are like, like I remember 2019. Well, I want to go back to 2018. Too many people are dying in 2019. And it's like, pretty sure same amount. It's not anything different. So of course, in a little bit here, looks like my pick of Houston beating Tampa Bay looks god awful. We'll see if the Dodgers and Atlanta do tonight. I'm actually looking forward to that series. I was looking forward to Tampa Bay Houston. Actually, like I said, I have it on here and everything, and it's kind of been a snoozer. Kind of disappointed in that. I kind of wish the Astros would learn to cheat real quick to make this a series again or something. Yeah, that was just for some of y'all out there that claim I love cheaters. That comment was for you. And as we talked about earlier, got the news this morning. I just love the name. I call him Renteria because just Rick Renteria. I don't know. Rick Renteria. It's kind of a cool name. I don't know why. I like that. Rick. I mean, it's better than Charlie Renteria, right? But they have, he's been let go with the White Sox, along with pitching coach Don Cooper. And Adam was most excited about Don Cooper going. Obviously, the weird thing about it is Renteria would have been the AL Coach of the Year going into that, last 2 weeks where they fell apart and had a lot of losses there in the last 2 weeks of the season. And all of a sudden now he's out of a job, and they flamed out in the playoffs, of course. So he led the White Sox to a 35-25 finish in this season and a tie for second place in the AL Central with Cleveland, 1 game behind the Twins. That finish came after a 100-loss season and 89 loss seasons the last 2 years. And they had not finished above 500 since 2012 and has not made the playoffs since 2008. So he took a team with no talent, was pretty much crappy. Catch myself there. Pretty much crappy. Takes them, rebuilds a couple years, gets them into the playoffs this year. Young, up-and-coming, Studley team. And the White Sox say thank you very much. We'll see you later. Not shocking because a lot of managers go through that where they rebuild a team. And then when the team starts to get good, they want to bring in somebody with a little bit more experience at that point that can take a team and put them over the top. Which is interesting I'm saying that. Because all the talk was, of course, they came out in their press conference and they talked about how they want a manager that has championship experience recently. They want somebody that has proven to be able to get the team over the top. And then they said, and no, we are not bringing back our former manager who won a World Series in 2005 with us. They specifically named him. AJ Hinch is going to be your next manager of the Chicago White Sox pretty quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have a deal put in place for him already. And that's why they let Renteria go today, was because they already have a deal for him. Him and Cora are the only two that fit that billing, and Cora's probably going back to the Red Sox. He's probably going to use the White Sox for leverage to get more money out of the Red Sox, I guess, right? I'm assuming. But, yeah, I don't know, man. How are people going to feel about A.J. Hinch going to the White Sox? It's funny how... Okay, I'm just going to say this now. My prediction. If A.J. Hinch goes to the White Sox and becomes their manager, I want personal apologies, everybody, who said that they don't like the Astros cheating scandal and they never support them. If you're a White Sox fan and you now support them hiring A.J. Hinch, I want a personal apology from you. Did you put up with cheaters when they're on your team? And I don't want to hear anything else. And that's my whole point. That's my argument on cheating with baseball and guys like that. And that's going to happen. You're going to watch all these White Sox guys who'll be like, Astros cheated. There's so much garbage. AJ Hinch, sweet. World Series, here we come. Woohoo. And they're going to do this little dance. I don't know. I imagine that's how White Sox fans dance. So, White Sox keeping us guessing here, going into the deal here, into the off season. We talked, and Adam was pretty sure if it was going to happen, it wouldn't happen until after the World Series, which also tells me they might have a deal already in place with somebody, or a tentative deal, and an agreement to have him come coach. They might not announce this now till after the World Series, but just the fact that they let Renteria go like they did now, and the pitching coach now instead of just waiting tells me they have somebody who's just waiting. Plus their comments afterwards talking about how, they basically described Cora or AJ Hinch. And the other side is, I'm not sure when their suspension ends. It might not even end until after the World Series. They had a 1-year suspension for cheating. So that might be the other reason why they can't announce it, is they have to wait till they're not suspended anymore to announce it. Wouldn't that be great if they announced it and he was still suspended? Well, when he gets done being suspended, he's going to be our manager. So that's White Sox news here. We'll get Adam's breakdown on that when on Thursday. We'll get an update on that with any word coming out. Of course, friend of the program, Scott Merkins, all over that with MLB.com this morning as we go. Still 3-0 Tampa Bay, bottom of the third. I'm disappointed in that series, but looking forward to this Dodgers-Atlanta series. Let's see if Atlanta can rough up the Dodgers a little bit and put some pressure on them, on that good stuff. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yesterday was week 5 of the NFL season, of course. I don't think anything big happened, did it? I'm not too sure. Oh, that's right. Dak Prescott out for the season. Of course, was playing on the 1-year deal. The Cowboys refused to sign him to a long-term deal because they didn't think they wanted to pay him $30 million. Goes out there. If you saw the video, those videos are fantastic to me. Like, I don't get grossed out about stuff, but just watching his leg turn like it did, drag on the ground, it's just gross as can be out there. But obviously, surgery last night, immediate surgery, which tells you there's blood flow issues that they need to get fixed. There's a bunch of issues that they want to fix right away, probably easier to fix at that point. And we'll hear more about that as time goes on. But then, of course, we'll talk about the backup quarterback there that went in. But then this morning, Cowboys Executive Vice President Jones, who's the kid of Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, says, quote, Dak Prescott is still our future. Okay. That's probably because Stephen Jones is like, well, we can sign him for less now after this injury. His exact quote was, absolutely not. He's our future. If anyone can overcome anything, it's Dak. Feel very good that he can come back stronger and better than ever. Unquote. This has got to be just talk, right? They didn't want to pay him that high dollar. I mean, that's my whole thing. And so now they're going to try to lowball him because he was injured now and his leg almost fell off. So they're like, first thought probably that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones had was, did his leg fall off? Oh man, we're going to get him for cheaper. Fantastic. We won't have to sign him for $30 million. Save us some money. Yeah. Take a swig. So, of course, people listening on the podcast are like, what's he talking about? Take a swig. He took a drink. I had Panda for lunch. A little Panda Express. So, Dak was on fire this year, right? And in less than 5 full games, of course, because he was injured in this one. Prescott completed 151 of 222 passes, 1856 yards, dominating the league on his passing side. I predicted he was going to be an MVP candidate. I was wrong on that beginning of the season, but I did say they're going to run the offense through him, and they are. He's slinging the rock. He was slinging the rock. Now if he's doing it from home. But even without playing the final quarter yesterday, because his leg fell off almost, Prescott was on pace for 5,939 passing yards. That would have surpassed Peyton Manning's single season record of 5,477 yards. It would have surpassed it by almost 500 yards. It's crazy talk. So Andy Dalton takes over for the first place Cowboys squad. In first place, I use loosely because they have 2 wins now. 2. Cowboys fans are all bragging, I saw on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, about how they beat the Giants. You barely beat the Giants. Giants should have won that game. And you have 2 wins now. Cowboy fans, settle down. Of course, they've got Monday Night Football. Arizona Cardinals going to Dallas this week. Andy Dalton is the backup. Gets a week behind there. Here's the deal. I actually would have picked the Cardinals. I was picking the Cardinals if Dak was in there, only because I think the Cowboys defense is really bad, and the Cardinals should be able to do whatever they want against them. But more importantly, Dak would be able to he'd have to keep pace with the Cardinals on offense and score points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Andy Dalton is more suited for Mike McCarthy's offense than Dak ever was. It's a quarterback system. It's stay in the pocket. It's roll out, throw deep type of an offense, and that's what Andy Dalton can do. I mean, i.e. see Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers and McCarthy were there. So this changes my perspective on this game on Monday night, and I'm going to have to think about this one now on there. This Dallas offense might be better now with Andy Dalton in there, just purely because he fits that system a little bit more than Dak did, even though Dak was really good at it. The problem with the Cowboys isn't necessarily their offense, it's their defense. Their defense is god-awful on there. And if they were playing anybody but the Giants yesterday, they would have lost that game. So obviously, huge news coming out of Dallas for their star quarterback. It just cracks me up how they keep insisting that Dak Prescott is their future. They want him there. When they say that, but all their actions say otherwise, and it's pure BS. I don't know what's going on in Jerryland, in Jones World, we'll call it, Jones Worlds. Of course, other big news, we've had 2 GMs get fired this year and 2 head coaches fired this year so far this season. Of course, I had my Dan Quinn rant a few weeks ago about how they need to make the change because the team has just got a stink to them, and they can't get out of it. I think Dan Quinn's a fairly good head coach in this league. I think he will be a good head coach in this league. It's just it's gone downhill for him. He doesn't know how to stop it in Atlanta. It's a cultural thing at that point. And once something morphs into a cultural thing in an organization, you have to make a change to have improvements. You saw it yesterday. Romeo Crennel goes into Texans, and they actually looked like a better team yesterday than they did with Bill O'Brien there. I expect to see the same. Doesn't mean Atlanta's going to start winning all of a sudden. They named their defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, their interim head coach. And Raheem Morris, of course, has been an interim head coach for a few different teams now, I believe, right? Wasn't he like Redskins and somebody else? I mean, it's just crazy how many places he's been. So, I'm trying to find out where he was at. I think it was Redskins. That's my reading sounder right there. Steve's reading. But also special teams coordinator Ben Kotwicka was also let go. So it turns out, Coach Ben, you shouldn't come out and say that the players knew about an onside kick when it was a head coach problem because you also got the axe on there. So changes are coming in Atlanta. Doesn't mean they're going to turn their season around at all by any stretch. But a big news out of there. And, of course, obviously they let that GM go. Obviously, Bill Bryan was the other GM and head coach let go. And then here, Dan Quinn and then the GM in Atlanta. So 2 down on my rant. We still have Adam Gase out there who played the Cardinals yesterday. They didn't look as bad on offense with – obviously, Le'Veon Bell came back and had a limited role. And they didn't look as bad with Flacco as the quarterback back there, but just their play calling is atrocious. That Adam Gase needs to they shouldn't even change the locks. They should just move the whole facilities so he can not find them anywhere. So change the locks, literally pick the building up, move it someplace else so he can't accidentally show up there. Put the facilities in the middle of a football field, and Adam Gase won't know where to go to find it. He'll have no clue where to find it. He'll look everywhere except for what's going on the football field. I should be owner of the Jets. I just solved your Adam Gase problem. It's so stupid. Because then Adam Gase comes out today after yesterday's fiasco, 4th and 1, and they hand the ball to a tight end as a blocking back and gets stuffed. It just got awful. Those play calls are awful, right? Then Adam Gase comes out and says, quote, "I've toyed with the idea of giving up play calling," unquote. Oh, okay, Adam. Oh, you're just toying with that idea. You think it's going so well that you should keep it. Oh, okay, Adam. Yeah, don't put too much thought into giving up play calling. It's working. Whatever you're doing now is working so well. It's year 2 of your meandering bullcrap offense. But don't worry, you take your time making that decision, buddy. You're 0-5. Don't worry about it. You got a couple more weeks to decide if you're doing a good job or not. Wow. Adam Gase admitted Monday he's considered giving up play calling duties in order to better manage games as a head coach with his team, still without a win after 5 weeks. Quote, "For the last 4 years, I've toyed with the idea every once in a while," unquote. Gase said of handling play calling duties to an assistant. Quote, "I don't think I'm ever opposed to try something to change things up. I'd say everything is on the table at this point," unquote. He should be fired just for saying this. Hey, this goes to my long-standing, when coaches are saying and doing this stuff, they got to go. They have to go. You can do it today. You can do it 3 weeks from now. You can do it at the end of the season. They need to go. They need to go now, sooner than later, is my opinion. He's obviously a jackass. He obviously has no idea what he's doing. He obviously thinks he's doing a good job. It's not his fault. He's that stupid. And when you have somebody that stupid leading your team, you need to let him go. And I'm not one to attack people's intelligence, but he's obviously stupid. Because for the last 4 years, he's toyed with the idea every once in a while of giving up play calling. Okay. Okay, genius. That's an offensive genius there for you guys right there. Dude. This guy's a joke. Then, excuse me real quick. I got Steve's. Running back Le'Veon Bell. Now, keep in mind, he has a history of having problems with players calling him out. Jamal Adams, who's now in Seattle, called him out. Several other players called him out, saying he's a horrible head coach. He sucks. He's got awful. Running back Le'Veon Bell was seen liking tweets relating to his lack of usage following Sunday's 30-10 loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, it wasn't the first instance of Bell taking his gripes public, even though he was passive in this one. He didn't come out and do it. He was just liking tweets of people commenting how he didn't use Le'Veon Bell that much. He used a tight end on 4th and 1 to run the ball and get stuffed when you have Le'Veon Bell, you have Frank Gore, you have a real fullback you could throw in that can run the ball, and he went to a tight end. Seriously. Then Gase was also a little bit dismayed by the running back's decision to let his frustrations be known publicly instead of coming to him to discuss his displeasure. Adam Gase, who has a history of his players calling him out and basically calling him stupid on social media, has a little bit of displeasure, and he's shocked that a player would dare do this instead of come talk to him. This guy's clueless, has no clue what's going on. Quote, "It is what it is," unquote, Gase said. Quote, "Sometimes the defense takes guys away that we're trying to get the ball to. I hate that that's the route that we go with all this instead of just talking to me about it. But seems the way you guys want to do it nowadays," unquote. Adam Gase is saying the defense is the reason why. Cardinals defense was so great against the run yesterday that he couldn't hand the ball off to Gates because the Cardinals defense was so great and he couldn't get the ball he couldn't snap the ball to the quarterback and then the quarterback hand the ball to the running back because the Cardinals defense was so great. That was physically unable to be happen. The defense took Frank Gore away, took the running game away from the Jets, that they couldn't hand the ball off on time. It's all the defense's fault. It's not Adam Gase. It's not Adam Gase's fault at all. Again, head coach blaming his players and blaming the Cardinals defense was not that stout yesterday. Cardinals defense was not keeping the ball away from them handing the ball off to Frank Gore or Le'Veon Bell. This madness needs to end. I'm even tired of it. And I have nothing to do with it. I could care less. And I'm tired of it. And I'm finding a tweet here. That's why I'm stalling here. I mean, just every time he opens his mouth, he, sticks his foot in there. It's ridiculous how much he does that. Sorry, guys, I have to choke here. He also came out today. Oh, I can't find it now. But it basically it's the same thing where he has another player on his team that he swore he was going to get more play calling to. It's because I'm in the wrong deal here. Hold on a second here. I was on at the Main Event Pod checking that out. I needed to switch to my personal page, SMAC 500. 600. I know. What? I think I'm drunk here. I got to sneeze. I can't sneeze. Adam Gase comes out today and said, quote, "It wasn't necessarily the plan," unquote, for rookie running back LaMichael Perine to get 0 offensive snaps on Sunday. Quote, "It was kind of the flow of the game," unquote. Adam Gase goes on and insists, quote, "We want to get Perine involved." I think it's Perine. It might be Perine. I don't know. Anybody see the problem with this? Am I the only one? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. As the great Zoolander movie reference said. Adam Gase is the offensive genius, according to the ownership there, Christopher Johnson. Adam Gase is an offensive genius. Adam Gase can't come out now and said that we didn't get Le'Veon more involved because the defense took it away from us. Rookie running back LaMichael Perine, if I'm saying it right, I'm sorry if I'm not, I don't know, has 0 offensive snaps. Was the defense keeping you from sending the guy out there? Because last I checked, you have packages that players are in, right? So you call a certain play and a player runs out there. At a minimum, there's that. Then if Le'Veon Bell or Frank Gore are tired, you can send him out on his own to run whatever play is coming. Did the defense keep him from running on the field? Did they erect a fence on the sideline so he couldn't run out there for you, Mr. Gase? The flow of the game, the current was so strong that he couldn't waddle out onto the field. He couldn't get over that white chalk line to get out there. He would have just been sucked. He would have been flown away. We'd be searching for him for days. He just couldn't get out there. The flow of the game was so amazingly powerful. We couldn't get him out there at all. Like 0 offensive snaps. We couldn't do it. Well, I don't know. I'm the offensive genius. I don't know how he didn't go out there. He tripped over the white line. I don't know. Every time he went to walk out there, a fence came up. Ding! I get why. I get it. I don't even want to like mention the guy's name anymore. He's so god awful. And could you imagine playing for him? Like, it's such a joke. I can't stand it. As you can tell, I'm just annoyed by it all. So, Saints, Michael Thomas is ruled out for Monday Night Football tonight for disciplinary reasons. Apparently, he hit somebody on his team. So now he's out for the season. Or now he's out for tonight's game. So news on tonight's game for everybody. Of course, it's Saints are playing the Chargers tonight. 5:15 p.m. Eastern time. Phoenix time. 7 p.m. Central time for y'all in Chicago. Um, here's the. I don't know what's going on tonight. I think I picked the Saints to win this, even without Michael Thomas. But we get to see Herbert as the starting quarterback for the Chargers for the first time, so that's pretty fantastic to see on there. So of course, yesterday we talked about Bears Buccaneers before. We got the Rams beat the Washington football team 30-10. Steelers beat the Eagles 38-29, a lot closer than we all thought it would be, but the Steelers do go to 4-0. Cardinals, as I mentioned, 30-10 over the Jets. Of course, I'll have more on that on the Cardinals Rewind podcast that I do at the end of the week after the injury reports and everything do come out. Record that. Usually try to get it up and post it Friday. Sometimes a video, like this week, the video went up on Saturday, but on the podcast system, it was up on Friday. And that was just a delay in the video processing side of it that I was dealing with. Chiefs lost to the Raiders yesterday. The Raiders went in there and basically smacked the Chiefs in the mouth. Chiefs are now 4-1. Raiders are a surprising 3-2. Texans rebounded as I said they would. Romeo Crennel had the team playing hard. I was reading a lot of stories yesterday of the players starting to open up a little bit more about their Bill O'Brien experience, especially toward the end. Not a shocker that they came out, played a lot harder yesterday. They wanted to show that it was the right move. 30-14 over the 1-4 Jaguars. Ravens came out, dominated on the Bengals. It was Joe Burrow was lost, fumbles, not him, other players. This was definitely, you can see the difference between a Super Bowl caliber team and a team that has a rookie quarterback that's trying to find the way in life right now and everything. One thing on this side is Lamar Jackson did have that sore knee, but he was 19 for 37. Not very good passing. 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 interception out there. He did not run the ball much at all, actually. He didn't run the ball at all. So he was basically just being the pocket quarterback with that knee issue, but he did play. So obviously it's just a expect him to miss some practice this week as well, going into this weekend's game as that knee is just protected. Panthers did beat the Falcons. As you know, Falcons are 0-5. They let Dan Quinn and the GM both go on last night, actually. So 23-16. Panthers, Matt Rule's 3-2 now. I'm actually surprised by that. Teddy Bridgewater looked good for the second week in a row. 49ers, wow. Jimmy Garoppolo makes his triumphant return yesterday. All excited to get back out there and everything. 7 for 17, 77 yards. And then C.J. Beathard takes over. 9 for 18, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, Garoppolo had 2 interceptions while he was out there. Mostert was back, 11 carries, 90 yards yesterday. And they got blown out, 43-17. Miami Dolphins is not a team to sleep on. I've said that repeatedly. They may not win. They're 2-3 on the year. They're not going to win 10, 11 games. Right now, they still need some talent on there. They're going to play hard. They're going to play hard. If you slack off and you don't come to play, you're going to get smacked in the mouth. And they did that yesterday to the 49ers with their players coming back. So 43-17. I mean, that's the shocker of the weekend, I think, by far. Cowboys, as we said, 2-3 now. They beat the Lonely Giants 0-5, 37-34. They had to come back at the end of the game there to win that. Of course, they were down even when Dak was injured and out for the season. So we'll have to see. Of course, like I said, they got the Cardinals this Monday night, and kind of changes the perspective on it with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback there for the Cowboys against the Cardinals. So we'll see how that goes. Browns 32, Colts 23. I know in our picks, Kaler had the Browns. Everybody else, I think, had the Colts, at least on the host side between me, Adam, and Kaler. I'm not surprised that the Browns won it. I'm surprised they won it as well as they did out there. With Chubbs being out, I thought that would be a hindrance on the Browns. And Phillip Rivers, again, 2 interceptions. It's just got awful. The Browns were also able to keep Jonathan Taylor bottled up in there with the running game of the Colts, and 12 carries for 57 yards. It's hard to win a game when you don't do that much and you turn the ball over twice. Of course, Baker Mayfield did have 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, so he's right on pace to what he was doing. Kareem Hunt was the missing piece. He did step up for Chubb being out, which I kind of laughed at Kaler about on the radio show last Wednesday and said he's not going to be able to do anything. 20 carries, 72 yards, which isn't a huge average, 3.6. But he had the ball for a long time and was able to keep the ball out of their hand. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham had another pass for 18 yards. Browns are living off of those trick plays right now as well. So Browns are 4-1, a surprising 4-1 there. Of course, they have to play their division guys, but Browns, looking at their schedule, could get to 8 or 9 wins, which to me is a shocker. Colts, of course, falling to 3-2. Seattle barely comes back and beats the Vikings 27-26. Last night, of course, Sunday Night Football was a snoozer of a game if anybody did watch that. Seahawks, though, did sneak it out, get to 5-0 on the season. Vikings 1-4. Of course, Vikings head coaches and GM just got a contract extension. They are in no danger of being let go right now. However, they're on the watch for next year. If they didn't get those extensions, I think they would both be on the hot seat. I'd be shocked if they made that deal now, but they should have waited on the signing of them because nobody wanted to see them re-signed. Everybody was shocked by it, and we're seeing why right now. So the Vikings fall to 1-4. Of course, as I said, Chargers and the Saints, 5 p.m. tonight. Of course, the other game that was going to be tonight was the Patriots game. That was been canceled and moved. NFL did a huge schedule change. We're not even going to worry and get into that. We'll just touch on the games as they come up during the week. They moved like 8 games around yesterday. There's no Thursday night football game this week, for instance, on there. And, of course, tomorrow, don't forget, it's still on, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so Phoenix time. Bills and Titans. As of now, I believe it's still on at 4 p.m. Tomorrow. So hopefully that hasn't changed and I'm not aware of it. But, good times in the NFL. This week, I'm not really huge surprises anywhere. I mean, I told you guys the Giants might be able to beat the Cowboys this weekend. I didn't pick them in anything. I just told you guys it's going to be closer, and I thought maybe the Giants could sneak out that victory. I forgot that the Giants don't win close games, and that's why I remembered that right before I went and made this pick. So that's why I went off of it. I mean, the Vikings holding in there with the Seahawks and making it 27-26 was a shocker. Definitely was. But the Seahawks won it, so not that big. Dolphins beating the Niners 43-17. I'm not shocked the Dolphins won that, but I am shocked they won it in such dominating fashion as we went on. Other than that, the Eagles hanging in there with the Steelers. Steelers had to kind of win that game a little bit late. A little bit shocker. If the Eagles play like that most weeks, they're going to have a really good record and compete with those Cowboys for their 6 wins to win that division. Yes, that was a dig. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, the Raiders, of course, beating the Chiefs was a big upset yesterday as well. Got to give them credit for that because nobody thought they could do it. And the Chiefs always do this every year where they have games where they, battle each other. They lose some games they probably shouldn't lose and things like that. Not shocking in that aspect. Raiders, I had the Raiders only winning 10 games this year, but the reason why I had that was mainly because, they have to play the Chiefs every year. And I thought the Broncos were going to be better than they are. Of course, they're not as good as they were going to be. That's who the Broncos were playing, the Patriots. Or the Patriots are playing the Broncos this week. That's been canceled and moved to another week on there. So, it's another exciting week. I mean, fantasy football is a little tough this year because you don't know. I had issues where obviously I couldn't play. I'm not sure who's playing where. So I had half of my bench actually isn't playing this week because I had Melvin Gordon. I have a few Patriots players. So I was struggling to find some guys, and it cost me in one league. I had to play Hines for the Colts in one of my leagues as running back because Melvin Gordon was out, and he got me 5 points. Melvin Gordon was going to get me 10 to 15 at a low end. And I'm losing that game by about 20 points. So, it's an interesting year in football, and games are changing around. Things are constantly moving, and, it brings a lot of excitement. I see a lot of angst out there regarding all these changes, and I'm actually I'm not anxious about it or anything. I'm actually kind of enjoying it because you don't know what's coming down the pipe, and it's been kind of exciting to watch. So, Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. It doesn't look like Adam slept in, but you can't blame him. He's got to work the night shift there. He's actually got to be there in about an hour, so hopefully he's up now. But we'll be back on Thursday like normal. Adam will be there, 10 a.m. Phoenix time on Thursday. We'll be previewing, of course, week 6 of the NFL season. Of course, I got the Wednesday night radio show, 6 to 8 p.m., the main event on 1580 The Fanatic. So definitely, guys can text into the text line at 888-368-1580 and join me on the show. We'll get in depth on what's going on in the world, college football as well as football this week. And, of course, whatever the updates are on baseball. Hopefully the series are still going on and being competitive. It's kind of looking a little rough right now, though, right? So definitely. Of course, you can find me at SMAC500. And, of course, at the Main Event Pods where we do all the show notes. And, of course, also send out any news articles, stories of things happening. Try to get as close to breaking news as possible on all of that stuff to get it posted out there so people can see it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday night.